craftswoman. That's hilarious. Shamanic craftswoman. That's an interesting title, and if we have a little bit of time, I'd love to touch on that later on. But yeah, definitely we'll, if not, we'll give you a little bit of info later on at Facebook page Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond, and also on our website pbbmedia.org. So we've been talking about the circles, and we just, Vanessa mentioned in the break, she really wanted to touch on the value of circling for mothers with newborn babies and how to hold and support those mothers, to allow them the space and the fluidity, I imagine. And I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so when we become mothers, it's huge. It's big. All of us who have become mothers or have watched people become mothers know it's a rite of passage as a woman. And sitting in circle in a sacred space, or even if it's too hard to, in inverted commas, sacred, if it's too difficult to have that because you're all meeting for the first time, just to gather as women who are going through the same things that you are with a newborn baby, talking about, your sore breasts, talking about how your birth went, talking about how it's going with your partner, because that's changed too. How are things with your baby? And it's such a beautiful time.
Older children as well. If you've got older children, the dynamics there and the relationships, and that's really important. I remember that was so important for me to talk about and unravel that.
That's right, because all your relationships change when you become a mother, and the relationship with yourself also changes. And so when you can gather with women and I would recommend on a weekly basis with mums and newborn babies, you will have that opportunity to speak what's in your heart or speak what's going on for you, and also ask questions about how are things going for other women. And so there's so much. It's called Circle of Shaman, where whatever a woman speaks, everyone can go, oh yes, I feel that too, and I get that too. There's so much of that similarity. So to be able to share that we're all in this together is massive healing. And I started both my mum's groups, so with my first son, who's now 7, and I still see those women, and some of those women are in my women's weekly group that I sit with now, and they're just, as my friend Leanne always says, the women that you breastfeed with are the women that will be with you for life, you know? And it's just so beautiful. And now I've actually just stopped sitting in my women's circle with my mums and bubs because I'm starting work next week. But there was a call out for those women who wanted to sit and gather, and I said, well, yep, I can come and we can run, hold this. And now it's been a year and a half, and our little ones are almost turning 2, and it's so beautiful. I can't put into words that magic. It's that stuff I was talking about before, that feeling that you get. That's the feeling I'm feeling right now as I'm talking about it. It's that warmth in my heart, the warmth in my belly. It's important as a mother to gather with other mothers. That's the simplicity of it. And if anyone would like help in doing that, I'm really happy to share my email if you want to contact me. And just the basics of, how do I gather the women? Where do we do it? And just those basic questions. And once, like I said before, once you commit, it starts to flow and it starts to come into place quite easily. So also for the women who don't have babies but want to start a women's circle, it can be something as basic as, you have a handful of women that you have in your life and you really want to see them more, but you don't see them as often. So you can ask one of those women if she wants to start in circle, and then you ask that woman to ask another woman, and that's how you begin to, gather a circle.
It's funny how once it's, before you kind of put it out there, it's this big unknown. And just when the moment you do make that decision and you put the intention out there that's what you want to, you kind of, you hold your arch and then suddenly the target appears. Suddenly the space becomes more, it reveals itself. Another woman pops up. I've been thinking about that as well.
And so many women.
and it's amazing. just in general, how much of women's stuff, if we talk about that a little bit as well, that a lot of women's stuff is unseen and just under the surface, and a lot of women are feeling and thinking very similar things, but it's not until one of us kind of, pokes up and says, oh, hang on a minute, I need to speak this, and I need to be heard, and I want to say, and then other women's like, oh, me too, I really want to be held in circle, and I've been feeling that, or I remember the same thing happened when I had a miscarriage. Suddenly, all my aunties and cousins called me, but I'd never heard those stories before. They're like, I had a miscarriage as well, and I didn't realize how common it was.
Yeah.
And that was my first miscarriage, and I think, I was 24. I was 3 months pregnant, and I remember thinking, how is it that I arrived at the age of 24 and haven't heard these stories?
Yeah.
I should have been hearing these stories as a child growing up, all of these stories, of course, not just miscarriages, but, and I think there's a lot of that can be healed, and there's an opportunity to re-navigate the narrative of women and what's being put out there for women by women, and with a sense of reverence rather than a sense of anger. And
that's right.
And because
that's right.
Yeah, we're missing that, the honouring.
And we're women. We're warm. We're inclusive. That's part of our gift as women at our core. Of course, we feel anger. I'm not saying that we're one-sided, but I'm just saying a part of our core gifts is that warmth and that gentleness and that inclusiveness. And this really helps us when we gather with other women. It really helps to bring that gift out in us even more. And it's what the world needs. It really is. It really is.
Yeah, the soft voice woven into the... I think that's a huge thing that's come up for me just in the last few days, is realizing how it's not just important for women to gather for themselves and for other women. It's important for the world to hear powerful, empowered, confident, strong, but in no means overpowering.
No, it's
softness and gentleness and calmness and roundness, not just direct ways of doing things, faceted, understanding the puzzle, understanding, the bigger picture, a way to kind of really, to infuse that into what's going on in around the world, because as we can see, so much of the, we've been going for so long in this one-sided direction, one head, with where we're becoming very angry. The world has become angry, and they've had enough, and they don't care anymore, and, and I think that very strong caring voice is missing, and it's up to us to stand up and to use our voices of care and love and connection, to help change that.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite quotes, and I saw it for years, and only one day did I go, oh yes, think globally, act locally.
Love that.
It's so good, because again, just by sitting and hearing another woman and being heard, that's deep healing. That's our great mother, Pachamama, hearing us. And she responds, and we respond, and it goes from there.
Vanessa, would you like to give us quickly your email address?
Yes, it's wood.vanessa, VANESSA, @hotmail.com.
Great, that's wood.vanessa@hotmail.com, and we'll of course put that on the website and Facebook page later on, and so you can get access to that. And which I think, Vanessa, you mentioned you're quite open to questions,
absolutely,
thoughts, any support that women might need in order to, if they're thinking of starting a circle, definitely shoot Vanessa an email, and
be more than happy to help. And I just want to send a shout out to my sister and my sister-in-law, who have just had babies within a week of each other.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, so beautiful. Blessings to them, and blessings to all the babies that are being born, and all the mothers that are being born as they birth their babies.
Oh, beautiful. Many, many, many blessings to all these beautiful mothers, babies. This is what happens on the Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond show. It feels so sensuous and beautiful. We'll be right back with you. It is 13 minutes to 12. The Belly Show is coming up next with Sister Rosella, who I just saw in the studio. She's not there right now. Gorgeous Rosella. I just pure joy every time I see her, and with a gorgeous show all about belly and local and global. And yeah, tune in, stay tuned, and we'll be right back with you with a little bit more information about circles and women, and and the value of women gathering.
Bay FM 99.9, the heart and the art of Byron Shire.
This time last year, my wife and I decided to sell home and move. Went to our existing bank, put to them a proposition for a new loan, and told me that this is what they could lend. I said at the time, I require more than that. And she said, unfortunately, that's what the computer says we can lend. I said, have you had a chance to look at my banking history with you? And she said, that's irrelevant. It's just what the computer says. We'd been with them for 35 years. I Googled Southern Cross Credit Union. I rang them. We went through what was required. He asked us what we needed rather than what he could give us. Within 48 hours came back with an amount that was enough for us to do what we wanted to do, move home. We were being listened to. We were treated like a person rather than just another number. We're very happy with our relationship with Southern Cross Credit Union.
Southern Cross Credit Union, sponsors of Bay FM.
It's Splendour in the Grass Festival's 18th birthday, and it returns to North Byron Parklands for 2018. Splendour is Friday the 20th to Sunday the 22nd of July, where 100 plus acts will perform over 3 days. Residents with a postcode of 2479 through 2484 can buy tickets prior to the general public sale. Head to the Northern Sunday, April 15 from 10 a.m. to purchase your Splendour tickets before anyone else. Remember, no cash sales or FPOS. They accept Visa and MasterCard only. Splendour in the Grass, sponsors of Bay FM.
Do you work to live or live to work? Business people, are they all about business, or is there something more to them? Every Tuesday I talk to different business people about their passion, their business and their life. Tune in on Tuesday mornings at 11. It's a great experience.
Okay, we are going to play a little song and also say goodbye to Vanessa. And we'd so love to have Vanessa on again and to talk about, we've got so many beautiful topics to talk about, but specifically there's some incredible, Vanessa's background and her passions and what her work in the world is. And maybe you can tell us just very, very briefly what kind of the overview of that is and to kind of leave us wanting more.
Well, I guess, for me, it's there's this idea of a woman needing to have a profession, and I was very much under that idea that every woman needs to have a profession to feel heard and valued and so on. And sometimes I still slip under that, absolutely. However, I see my role in this world as a mother, as a sister, as a wife to my husband, a sister and mother to myself, and all of that has happened for me and come to light because of the opportunity I gave myself to heal lots of things that have happened in my life, and also to look at my red thread, so my female line on down my mother's side, my grandmother, great-grandmother and so on. And, I'd love to talk about that, because that just is a whole big, wonderful, dark at times world, and to talk about the light and dark of being a woman, and to not be so afraid of the dark, because there's gold in the dark as well. It just looks different,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super looking forward to that. Can't wait till we decide on a date to come back and really delve into that. Thank you so, so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. Thank you, Annalie. Yes, it's been lovely to be here, and got my hand on my heart, my hand on my womb. Feeling good.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
That's Vanessa Wood, Pregnancy, Birth and Beyond show. We'll be back very shortly. I'm going to put on a quick song, and then we will read a bit of the news. And this one is also from the Putumayo album, Women of the World, the acoustic Women of the World. And this lady is called Emiliana Torrini, She's from Iceland and Italy, and the name of the song is Sunny Road. Enjoy.